Regarding sort of black books of contacts, you mentioned there you had to go back your sort of the list of contacts you knew and you relied on that. How reliable do you think that is now in 2022? Do you believe if a salesperson comes to you and says, look, I've got a Rolodex of customers, I'm pretty confident at it, would that give you reassurance? Because I look at nowadays and I'm thinking most candidates out there say they've got contacts, but now the company's got so many wraparound services around it, it's very difficult for them to lodge that customer away. So what's your thoughts on that? Do you look for a black book of customers when you speak? You don't?
If I could give our competitors a piece of advice, or anyone who's wishing to become a managed service provider, is that if you're expecting to recruit a salesperson that's going to bring on board a book of business, you're going to be sorely disappointed. You need to treat it just like you would do any other employee and engineer, which is you've taken somebody on board for their expertise and skills and experience, but they're going to have to work hard, and it's going to take them many months in order to build up a pipeline. And some of it might be through people they met before, but anyone who's got any customer that's prepared to move away that quickly is not really engaged. They haven't got a partnership with their existing managed service provider. So,
okay. Would you, when you've obviously started growing, you had obviously competitors in the market. There's lots of companies saying they do MSPs now, and I look at the market quite closely with the tin shifters, if you like, saying they're trying to bolt on and do services, and the service providers not leading with tin, but they still do it. Who in the market do you sort of rate? Who do you think sort of got it cracked, and you think, you know what, I admire that company, and they do well with it?
So we've obviously got lots of competitors, and I also think our biggest competitor, we probably lose more deals to no decision than anything else. I think that the one organisation that I probably most admire, who's really seen the opportunity going forwards in terms of our sector, which is commercial real estate, might be somebody like Ideal Networks, who have realised that there's a lot of buildings that need updating in the marketplace. They've got a really strong converged network offering. I wouldn't say they're a direct competitor of ours, but their CEO can he can really describe what their proposition is that anybody in the industry could understand. So that's certainly a competitor of ours that I admire.
And as you've grown organically, Matt, there was a time then you thought, well, actually, I need some help in looking at acquisitions. Now, most people don't get to that stage where I see, lots of small companies, MSPs, keep small, keep niche. You've decided to go big. What made you decide to get VC funding in, or funding in to actually scale the business?
Okay, well, just to correct you, we're backed by a private equity partner, which is it's very different from VC. I run a business for 20 years. So in 2019, I decided that I wanted to de-risk it for myself. It was my biggest investment. I did consider a trade sale, but I think one of the best things I did was engage a really, really good corporate finance advisor, an organisation called ProVantage. And we talked about what was important for me and my founders and my key team. And we decided that we'd like to carry on, but maybe, I think the term is, take some money off the table to de-risk it for myself, my family, and my colleagues and their families. And that's when we decided to get private equity backing. We've got a great partner, a company called Horizon Capital. They've got the same or greater ambition than we have to grow the business.
Right.
So, we've achieved what we set out to do, which was put the business on a trajectory of growth, and also de-risked it for my founders.
And when you go through these acquisitions, obviously you've got some private equity, you've got some money to spend trying to go through acquisition trials. How do you approach customers? How do you approach targets? Is it just simply a phone call, Mark, I'm interested, can we meet, or how does it work?
Several ways. Firstly, there's a lot of other corporate finance organisations in the industry, so a lot of them are quite well known. So once you have become private equity backed, they know you have a war chest and some funding, so you can actually execute on a transaction, which is quite important because a lot of people are a bit aspirational. So we get a lot of inbound, but then there's some key targets. So it's a small industry, so many of the businesses I'd like to merge with. I know the CEOs, so it's fairly simple. I cut sales, I put a call in, an email, a LinkedIn message, and And it just has to be a bit of a chat, see what people's plans are. It doesn't matter whether they're not up for sale now. Our journey is going to carry on, hopefully for many decades. So, it might be this year, it might be next, might be in 5 years' time.
And what is the plan? So how many acquisitions have you made? How many have you got planned in it at the moment? You don't have to name names, obviously, if you've got some secret ones in the future. But
I certainly talk about our future plans. We've done 2 acquisitions so far. An MSP based in Guildford called Response IT, and a ISP based in Cambridge called Bridge Fibre, who are specialised in providing connectivity into things like science parks and business parks. We brought them both together into the business, and we're in the process of integrating them in terms of the future aspirations. So I think there'll be another 10 between now and at the end of my first 5-year plan.
10 more.
10 more. Yeah.
Wow. How do you merge how have you merged the 2 companies' acquisitions got into the culture? Because when I hear about acquisitions, I normally struggle listening to people do it where they say they either leave them alone and they trade them under their own brand, but if they do rebrand them, the culture is a bit difficult to fuse them together. So how have you done that?
I won't say it's easy,
right?
Because it most definitely isn't, because it is all about the people. It's a tough one. We are bringing everything together as one business, irrespective of brand names. So we want everybody to feel that they're part of one team. So that's the most important thing. We've done a huge investment in ServiceNow, so that we can run one service desk and one operations across all the business. And we're also rolling out SAP by our partner Sapphire, so that we have one accounting system, one CRM system, one IT service management system, and that's how we're bringing the teams together.
Is there any ego involved in when you're merging companies together where you've got maybe one MD of one company, one MD of another company, James, your MD? Is there any challenges sort of thinking actually trying to get these people to work together? Because a lot of people will be thinking they're scared when people go through acquisitions. It's unsure, there's uncertainty. Staff are thinking, am I keeping my job? Am I losing my job? I'm going to go into this new company, I'm having a new boss. How do you balance that? How do you deal with it?
I think the first thing is to reassure people that our business grew organically double-digit each year anyway, plus all these acquisitions, another 10 in the plan. We are absolutely going to be recruiting more people, and everybody's job, and I can say this, is safe when we take over a business, because we're growing. We want more people, and I know that M&A people are scared, or at least concerned that when you see it in other industries when there's M&A, they shut down businesses and do large layoffs. That's clearly not applicable in the fast-growing technology field. Then I'm not so sure about egos, but there's definitely a change of culture. So if you look at our business, when we it's just 10 or 15 of us, we didn't have a great deal of governance, and I could pretty much do what I want. Now it's a little bit how should I put it, a little bit more regimented. There are some processes to do things. So even I've had admin rights somewhat restricted from me going in and dabbling with systems, or at least the administrators get an alarm when the event monitoring system detects that I've logged into the Office 365 admin account.
To have corporate governance, is that been frustrating for you, or have you embraced it? Because as an owner, you can normally do what you want with who you want, when you want, whenever you want, and suddenly there's a bit of corporate governance saying, well, Matt, maybe you can't do that. Is that a good thing?
It's definitely a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. So, we are very, very fortunate. I've got some fantastic non-executive directors. I've got a fantastic private equity partner. But I describe them sometimes a bit like having a personal trainer. So, you are going to go through some pain, some challenges, and sometimes you're going to be bright red in the face and, maybe curse a little bit, but it's for the good. So, James and I, the management team, we really like change. We embrace it. We're always learning, but it's never going to be without challenges.